Hello, boys and girls. It's the best time of your Sunday morning, story time with Joe and the crew. How many of you guys have already eaten today? Well, if you haven't eaten yet, you'll probably be eating pretty soon. And that's what Joe's going to tell you about, how God is able to give you food from heaven. We call it manna in the story. But don't take from me, hear from Joe. Let's count down our favorite song. 3, 2, 1. I think it's story time. I think it's story time. I think it's rhino time. It's time for story time with Joe and the crew.
Good morning, Kingdom Kids! It's story time with Miss Joe, and I'm so excited to do this story with you today. Today we're going to learn about food from heaven. Are you guys ready? Let's go. Okay, the last time we talked about the children of Israel, the Israelites were freed from Pharaoh. Now they're walking with Moses through the hot desert. And guess what? They have started to complain. Moses, it's hot out here. I'm sweating and I don't have anything to eat or to drink. At least when we were with Pharaoh, we were not starving. And guess what happened? God heard their prayers. And he said, I know what I can do. I can send a bird named quail to feed the Israelites so they will not be hungry. And so God sent quail. For me, KFC. And so the Israelites had plenty to eat. Look just like chicken. So after the Israelites ate all of the quail, they were filled up and they began to walk again through the hot desert. But guess what? The very next day, they started complaining again. Moses, we're so hungry and we're so thirsty. And God heard their prayer again. And so this time, he sent bread from heaven. And miracle, it was a miracle. So much bread began to fall from heaven. And then the children of the children of Israel had plenty to eat, right? And so after they had the bread from heaven, yummy, they were filled up. And the very next day, they began to complain again. Moses, we're thirsty. I think it was the bread. What y'all think? I think the bread made them very thirsty. They were hot and they were sweaty. And so this time, Moses went to God. God, what do you want me to do? And God told Moses to take his staff. And he said, hit a rock. And when he hit a rock, guess what? Living water began to pour out into the cup. Ooh, I can't wait to taste this. Taste it. And so the children of Israel were not thirsty anymore. So as they continued to go on this journey, God always provided for them. They were never hungry or thirsty again. And I want you to remember that God will provide. Say, God will provide. I can't hear you. Say, God will provide, just like he did for the children of Israel. I hope you enjoyed Story Time with Miss Joe. See you next time. Bye.
Hey. Now I got your attention. Can I pray for you? Our Father who art in heaven, hallowed be thy name. Thy kingdom come, thy will be done on earth as it is in heaven. Give us this day our daily bread, and forgive us our debts as we forgive our debtors. Lead us not into temptation, but deliver us from evil. God is the kingdom, the power, and the glory forever and ever. Amen.
Kingdom Kids, Kingdom Kids, Kingdom Kids, hey! Kingdom Kids, Kingdom Kids, Kingdom Kids, hey! Good morning, Kingdom Kids. I'm Miss Joe.
I'm Mr. Kirk.
Chloe!
And Carl. And we are the Copeland family. And Kingdom Kids with us today. Are you guys ready?
Yes!
1 Corinthians 10:13. No temptation has overtaken you except such that is common to man. But God is faithful. He will not allow you to be tempted beyond what you are able. But with temptation, you will also make a way of escape, that you may be able to bear it. My message today is the forbidden fruit. All right, guys. So we are going to talk about the forbidden fruit. Are you guys ready?
Yes.
That don't sound like y'all ready. Are you ready?
Yes.
So let's talk a little bit. So when you were younger, everybody's been young, right? Are you still a baby, Tajane?
No.
No, you're not a baby. So everybody's been young. Do you remember having a lot of rules? Do y'all remember having rules? Do you still have rules?
Yes.
Yes, we still have rules. We've had rules since we were really little to right now. Can somebody help me understand, why do you think you have rules? All right, Riley.
To keep us safe.
To keep you safe. Anybody else want to add on to that? Anybody else? That's all you know? So to keep you safe. Okay, Kai had something.
To help you be led in the right direction.
Okay, so rules help us to be safe and they help us to be led into the right direction. Now, who usually give us those rules?
God.
God. Who else?
Our parents.
Our parents. Anybody else give us rules?
Grandma.
Figures.
Parental figures.
The president.
The president, okay. Teachers, leaders, different people around, adults.
Babysitters.
Big sisters and brothers, right? Babysitters. Now, we have a lot of people who give us all type of rules, right? Now, do we like rules?
Yes.
Be honest, do you like rules?
Yes.
Yeah, some people like rules sometimes, but sometimes rules can suck. Say suck.
Suck.
And the reason why they suck is because we still want to do what we want to do, right? Now, even though you've been given rules, how many people have broken rules before? I can say that all of us have broken rules before because sometimes they're just hard to follow. Now, if we're talking about rules, and when you're little, what is the one thing can you remember that your parents said not to do? Tajane.
Touch the stove.
Touch the stove. Now, why shouldn't we touch the stove, Alex?
Because you can burn yourself.
You can burn yourself, but let's think about it. Put your thinking caps on. Do people still touch the stove?
Yeah.
I know. Yes.
Yes, but do you know somebody that still touches the stove?
Yes. I know.
You don't? She doesn't, but you, Alana?
Parents still and adults.
Adults may touch the stove. Now let's think about this. Your parents told you not to touch the stove, but she said parents touch the stove. Why do you think there is a difference between the two? Tajane.
Because parents are more older and they know like not to touch the stove when it's hot because they know that they're going to burn themselves if they do. But if we're like little kids, we don't know but not to touch the stove because we don't know that we're not going to get burned.
Okay, Chloe wants to add on.
And you don't know. The parents know, like they have more.
Knowledge?
Yeah.
They have more knowledge about it. So it's safe to say that kids don't know the consequences, right? You know what consequence is?
Yes.
It's what happens when you do something you're not supposed to do and then you get in big trouble for it, right? So the reason why adults tell you not to do things is because it's a consequence that happened, right? Now, today we're going to talk about the forbidden fruit. Now, who can tell me, how do you know about the forbidden fruit? Is there a story in the Bible that talks about this? Riley, what do you think?
God told Adam and Eve not to eat a specific fruit from the tree of knowledge and evil, but they disobeyed him and ate it anyway.
They ate it anyway, right? Do you guys understand that story? So God told them not to eat the fruit. Say not to eat the fruit.
Not to eat the
But
fruit.
they did it anyway. Say anyway.
Anyway.
And guess what? When they ate the fruit, we had plenty of consequences, right? And those consequences are things that we have to live with today. Now, God told them not to do it for a reason, but sometimes, say sometimes, we do what we want to do. Say want to do.
Want to do.
So the thing about doing what you want to do is that it's a lot of consequences that can happen when you do that, right? So this forbidden fruit can mean a lot of different things to us. It can mean the things that your parents tell you not to do, such as, anybody have some examples of things that they tell you not to do?
run down the stairs.
Don't run down the stairs, right? Because first of all, it's their house and they don't want you running down the stairs. What do you think?
Because you could trip and fall.
You can trip and fall, so don't run down the stairs because you can trip and fall. Kai, what do you think?
Run up the stairs.
Run up, they want you to run up the stairs.
No, they don't.
They don't want you to run up the stairs because you can do the same thing, trip and fall. What do you think, Chloe?
Don't go nearby the glass
Don't go by glass. Why?
because if it breaks, you can get scars and it'll cut you.
You can get cut and you can get scars. What do you think?
Don't go outside without their permission, or when you're at the store, don't go running off without them, because you can get kidnapped.
You can get kidnapped. If you do not listen to the rules, there can be consequences such as not seeing your family anymore. So we want to make sure that we are listening and we're not being like Eve. Say, don't be like Eve.
Don't be like
We
Eve.
want to listen to authority to make sure we stay safe. Now, I have a friend. And what's the name of this friend?
Snake.
A snake. I'm gonna call him the sneaky snake, right? So this sneaky snake played a big role with Eve. And how? Mr. Kirk, what do you think?
Well, he told her something that it wasn't gonna be a bad idea to eat the fruit, even though God already told them not to do it. And he told them, oh, no, he just don't want you to have fun. He don't want you to know the difference between good and evil. So he's trying to keep fun away from you.
All right, so this little fella comes every once in a while, right, Chloe? And it tries to persuade you to do the wrong thing. What do you want to add on, Chloe?
And then the snake told Eve that you'll be like God.
You will be like God. So let me ask y'all a question. How many people listen to snakes?
A lot of people.
A lot of people. What does that really mean to listen to a snake? Kai?
You're like following the devil's path.
You're following the devil's path. And sometimes the thing we want to do, this little thing comes and try to persuade us to go ahead and do it, right, Kai? And so if we listen to the snake, say don't listen to the snake.
Don't listen to the
because
snake.
this snake can get you in big trouble, right? So the thing is, we don't want to listen to the snake. We want to listen to God. Do you guys want to understand the road of temptation, the steps of avoiding temptation, being in temptation? Today we're going to teach you how to not be, how to avoid the snake. Say, avoid the snake.
Avoid the snake.
Are you ready for a demonstration? Demonstration time, and today we're going to talk about the road of just getting through temptation, how to avoid temptation, what to look out for, the red flags. Are you guys ready?
Ready.
Yes. All right, so what I have in front of me is step number 1, the actual temptation. So I know that you guys love what? What is this? Candy! Kids love candy! Bowl, I have some money. I see some $5 bills.
like that too.
How many people like money? Show me the money.
Show me the money.
All right, and in my last bowl, I have what? Some chips. And everyone loves chips. Now, take a good look at these 3 bowls. What if I told you that you can have anything on this table? Look at them real good. Anything on this table except for the money. Ooh.
That's fine.
How would you feel if Miss Jo said you can have anything on the table except for the money that can buy you everything in the store right now, the things that you can share with your friends? You can have everything except for the money. Let's talk about it. God told Adam and Eve that they can have anything except what? For what, Riley?
The fruit from the tree of the knowledge and the evil.
Now, if I told you you can have anything, what's the most tempting thing up here?
Money.
The money. Why, Kai? Why is the money the most tempting thing?
Because you have options, but you can have even more options with money.
You have a lot of options, but you can have more options with money, just like the tree, right? I can have all the fruit, but if I touch the tree, I can be just like God, right? So, would you guys say that this is very tempting if I told you not? If this was here all day, and you walked around this all day, would it be hard not to get the money?
Kind of.
Kind of. Tell me more, Tajane.
I say kind of because like with money you can get anything that you want out of the store because you have the money to pay for it. But like with the chips and stuff, there's just like you can just have that, but you won't get the money. Like the money is not for you.
So would you be satisfied?
The kind of.
You'll still be kind of thinking about it, right? So even though I'm giving you options and gifts, the one thing you want the most, you can't have. So the first step with temptation is sometimes denying your flesh from something that you really, really want. Now it's going to take a lot of discipline not to reach for the what?
Money.
The money, right? And we know that if we do reach for the money, then what comes after disobeying? Consequence. Say consequence.
Consequence.
And what kind of consequences can come when you disobey Miss Joe?
But if you take the
No
money,
money.
you can go to jail.
You could go to jail because that's stealing, right? You can go to jail. You can get in trouble with your parents. Miss Joe will be disappointed. And then the biggest thing is you'll be disappointing God because you didn't listen, right? So we want to make sure that even though we have options in this world. But if God tell you not to touch it, then you don't do what?
Touch it.
Don't touch it. What if the sneaky snake said, Chloe, but you can go buy more candy if you get the money? Who can tell me something that they can tell the snake? What do you think, Alana?
I'm not listening to you.
What? You're not gonna listen to me? What else can you say, Tajane?
I'm not gonna listen to you because you're trying to make me disobey God, and God's gonna get mad at me, and you're trying to make me go on the wrong path.
Okay, so tell the snake. Anybody else on this side, Raleigh?
Tell him nothing and just walk away.
Walk away.
Nah, Snake, I'm good.
I'm good, okay?
Sorry, Snake.
Sorry, snake. All right, what do you think, Mr. Kirk?
I think those were all good. Just, say, I already have great options in front of me. I don't need to disobey God or disappoint Miss Joe and worse, get in trouble just because you're telling me to do something. You want the money so bad, you get it.
No, I'm just playing. So we know that, and what if I'm telling you not to get the money because I have a bigger purpose for you? What if I was going to use the money to take all of us somewhere nice, but somebody decided to take the money when I told them not to take the money, and guess what? Not only do that person suffer, everyone else suffers too. So when an adult tell you to do something, say, listen. Do not go into temptation.
Do not go into temptation.
All right, so we want to make sure you do not go into temptation. Kill the flesh. Say, kill the flesh.
Kill the flesh.
All right, are you ready for our next demonstration? All right, guys, it's demonstration number 2. And as you can see, everyone has a what? Oreo cookie. Now, who can tell me the components of this Oreo cookie?
Cream cookie.
We have cream. What do we have?
Chocolate.
The chocolate and another piece of chocolate, right? So if we look at this cookie, we have cream in the middle, which can be us. We're gonna say we're the cream. Say, I'm the cream.
I'm the cream.
And then we have the cookie on the top and on the bottom. Now the cookie is going to represent darkness. Say darkness.
Darkness.
When it comes to peer pressure, as you can see, we have darkness surrounding us on the top and on the bottom. And sometimes we can feel like we're getting pressed in. Say pressed. I want you to press your cookie. Now, darkness and peer pressure sometimes tell us to do things that is not right. Sometimes peer pressure be like, hey, I want you to steal those things. I want you to disobey your parents. I want you to talk back to your teachers. But the cream, what is happening to the cream?
It's staying there.
It's staying the same. When you have Jesus Christ in your heart and in your mind and in your soul, it doesn't matter the darkness around you. You can remain the same. It doesn't matter the peer pressure. Now, sometimes when you're a Christian, the peer pressure gets tough. Everybody keep pressing. Press, press, press. What's happening to your cookie?
It's
Breaking.
My cookie is starting to break because darkness will start to break, and sometimes that can be called broken people. It breaks, but what's happening to the cream?
It's still in there.
It stayed the same. The cream stayed the same. No matter what darkness is around it, it stays the same. Say, stay the same.
Stay the same.
You have to be able to say no and walk away from those things that are not like God. But let me show you something else. Even though you sometimes have to walk away from your friends that are not good for you because they're telling you to do the wrong things, look at this. What do you see right here?
It's still some spiritual on the darkness.
Even on the darkness, the cream is still on it. So no matter how much you try to tell your friends about Jesus Christ and they don't listen, when they walk away, a part of you is still on them. The cream is still on the cookie. Say it's on the cookie.
It's on the cookie.
Your light is still on the darkness, and you want to make sure that no matter how many people disagree with you, you can still share, you can still be a child of God, and you can still do the right thing. Say, I will do the right thing.
Do the right thing.
All right, guys, are you ready for another demonstration? All right, guys, so our next demonstration is called the flesh versus the spirit. Now, when we are trying to avoid temptation, guess what? The real battle is between these two. We have to know which one will win. Now, as you can see with Mr. Kirk, he looks big and he looks strong, and that's the flesh, which is not a good thing. And our spirit is trying to be strong, but he's just not a match to the flesh, right? So what we're gonna do, sometimes when you have to make a decision, it's going between the flesh and it's going between the spirit. Now, let's see who will win. If you did not want to do the wrong thing, if you did not want to go outside when your parents told you not to, your flesh is saying, go ahead, do it. They won't know. You can get back in the house when they come back. And your spirit might be saying, obey your parents, listen to God, don't do the wrong thing as a consequence. Let's see what it looks like when we listen to our flesh. Are you guys ready?
Ready.
Yes, this is a tug of war between the flesh and the spirit. Are you guys ready?
Ready.
Ready, set, go. Oh, who will win? It looks like the flesh is winning against the spirit. The flesh is winning against the spirit. Now, Kai, help me understand. How did that feel to get beat by the flesh?
I couldn't do nothing about it.
You couldn't do anything about it. You weren't strong enough, right? Now, let's get back into position. We still have the flesh versus the spirit. But you know what happens? How does the spirit get stronger? Now, in order for the spirit to win, different things have to be added on, all right? So, the first thing we have to add on is we have to read our Bible. Once we read our Bible, we get the knowledge that we need to win, right? The next thing we need to do, sometimes we can do what? What can we do, Tajane?
Walk away.
We can walk away. We can walk away. Get on that side for me. We can walk away from the situation. The next thing we can do, Riley, is what?
Pray.
We can pray. We can pray. As you can see, the flesh is standing along and the spirit is adding on things. Alana, what else can we do?
Worship.
We can worship. We can learn how to worship. And the last thing we can do is do what, Alex?
Ask God for help.
We can ask God for help. So, in order for the spirit to win against the flesh, you can read your Bible, walk away, ask for prayer, you can worship, and you can ask God for help. Now, as we're looking, who do you think will win now? Do you think it will be the flesh? Boo. you should be every single time you need to win in temptation. Are you ready for your next demonstration? All right, guys, the last thing we're going to talk about on this road of enduring temptation or trying to get through temptation is the consequences when we sin, right? We know that when we do things that God does not want us to do, that it's consequences. Say consequences.
Consequences.
All right, so on my domino right now, we're going to talk about the domino effect. If I sin and I do something bad, it don't just affect me, right? When you have people who care about you and love you, it affects everyone in your family, everyone in your community, at your school, if you do something that's really bad, right? If you do something that disobeys God and disobeys your parents, if you get lost or stolen or kidnapped, guess what? Everybody suffers, right? So my dominoes, they have dots on them. And this is going to represent your families and the people who care about you. And on each domino, it's people from your community, your church, from your school, your friends, right? Because if Tajane was lost, guess what? I am going to be sad. Her parents are going to be sad. Her sisters will be sad. Her dad, everybody in her family, you would be sad, right? So it just does not affect Tajane. It affects all of us. Say all of us.
All of
And
us.
just like this domino, if I do the wrong thing, even though I'm in trouble, it might hurt different people. Are you ready to see how many people will hurt? Right? Say sin can hurt.
Sin can hurt.
All right. Are you guys ready?
Yeah.
Count me down.
5, 4, 3, 2, 1.
That was really fast. Sin affects everyone. Sin affects everyone. So we want to make sure that when God says no, say God says no.
God says no.
I don't do it.
I don't do it.
All right? Because it's not about me.
Because
It's not about me.
So we want you guys to know today that even though you might just commit one little tiny sin, it has different consequences. And it starts with temptation. It starts with peer pressure. It starts with the flesh versus the spirit. And the last thing is the domino effect. It affects all of us. Say all of us.
All of us.
All right, guys. Are you ready for a little chat? All right, guys. We're going to leave you with a little chant to help you if you ever get into temptation. We want you to do 3 things. We want you to
Stop, pray, and run.
What you need to do,
Stop, pray, and run.
What you need to do,
Stop, pray, and run.
Who we running to?
Jesus.
Who we running to?
Jesus.
Who we running to?
Jesus.
All right, Kingdom kids, we have one more thing for you. Our Kingdom girls want to do a special dance. Are you ready?
Hi guys, it's me, Riley, and I'm going to be teaching you guys a Christian dance. I'm a Christian. Blessed, loved, forgiven. Saved, chosen, winning. Holy is how I'm living. It's how I'm living. I'm a Christian. Now I'm going to bring in some friends with me.